And he goes, no. I said, sleep, not look at the ceiling. I said, okay, I'll sleep. Hubby was so funny. He goes, do you realize it's 7:30 at night? You should be in bed. I go, what am I, a child? He likes to order me around. Not that I listen to orders, but you gotta pretend that he's the boss. You know how it goes. Good afternoon. Welcome to my channel. It's a Wednesday afternoon. Just a moment, please. Hang in there. Let me get situated because there's new stuff, new furniture. Okay, here we go. It's the 25th of August, 2021. And we're actually in the last section of the seashells. It's a little snack size, I call it. Snack size, a little relaxing project. And I am planning to open a completely different kind of diamond painting, which is, I already put some drills out over here that I was putting in the background. And I have a screen that I'm sure. Good afternoon. Welcome to my channel. It's a Wednesday afternoon. Just please hang in there. Let me get situated. Wednesday afternoon. There's new stuff, new furniture. Okay, here we go. It's the 25th of August, 2021. And we're actually in the last section of the seashells. Little snack size, I call it. Snack size, a little relaxing project. And I am planning to open a completely different kind of diamond painting, which is, I already put some drills out over here that I was using for the background. And I have a feeling that I should have probably put it away. Yes. Okay. So that kind of thing is based on a type of embroidery that we do here in Hungary. It is called Matyo, Matyo embroidery. And a Hungarian company had decided to make this traditional type of embroidering into diamond painting, which I thought was very interesting. So I will show you a sample of it from the cloth with yarn, and I will show you diamond painting of that type of embroidery. I thought it was very refreshing, seeing that we are not going to be diamond painting the usual run-of-the-mill canvases all the time, like everyone else is doing. I thought it was something different to get our attention. I think it is beautiful. However, now I did find something strange. I found the same, so this is usually of flowers, on a black background, very colorful flowers. And I have seen this type of embroidery from other nations also. But this particular one called the Mojo embroidery is prevalent in Hungary. And in some parts, in small villages, very few of them are left according to old traditions. Um, Even the houses had this motif. They were decorated with sort of painting. Again, the flowers, that I will show you tomorrow. And I got something very useful in the package. I have to open the package because customs would notice there were these little pouches and they hold so much. This was included as a gift from Creative Gamer. Again, my lighting, I apologize. I have seen these pouches before, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to order it. Well, I got two of them as gifts, and I definitely will order more because I found them so very useful as far as putting, my diamond painting tools and this and that in it. And I even thought of using them as storage bag for my leftover drills because I'm getting to have quite a large collection of leftover drills. I mean, after a while, I will not save the drills, only the very special ones. But so far, I started this whole thing in January. I don't feel that I have enough reserve of drills yet, in case I run short. Of course, every company will replace any drill that is missing. But in the meantime, I have to wait for shipment to arrive or something. Well, I'm just sort of quietly referring to some of the little mishaps. Now this company, this Creative Game out here in Hungary, usually delivers the next day. They're very good as far as that's concerned. But we like beautiful canvases and we go looking all over the internet and you go, oh, that's so beautiful, I have to have it. And I'm willing to wait months for it. I calculate the time I have to wait. In the meantime, I will order, smaller diamond paintings or what have you. Because I can't live without diamond painting. Diamond painting is habit for me. So, exactly what I'm talking about. This is the top of the camera, this is the bottom. I guess it's supposed to be the sky of the water. You think I see shells. I am not sure yet. I will wait when I am finished to determine what is it supposed to be up here. What is the background? I presume it's the water because the sand over here. So yeah, be prepared for the traffic as soon as I get down. And right up here, you can have a little silence, just in case you were missing it. Well, I went to what do you call it? The place where I had my glasses made, what have you. So far, I have only used reading glasses. for the past couple of days, I've been having a little bit of problem with my eyes. So I figured perhaps I need a little bit stronger glasses, to enlarge what I am looking at. Now, a bit of a bad news. I was referred to the eye doctor. I could call it optometrist. Is that the word in English? I was referred to the doctor that she would have to examine my eyes again and write a prescription. There was a long murmur, something about a laser operation, but nothing further discussed until I see the doctor. So I have to make an appointment. The other thing I was considering was that I better get these, optometrists and dentists and all of it out of the way before I am sure when the fall comes around, we're going to have a little bit of to do. So right now everything is open and working full steam. So I figured I might as well, get these out of the way. They must be done as unpleasant as it is. I don't mind wearing glasses. I've been wearing reading glasses ever since I was in college. So that's not new, but I was surprised that immediately they referred to the doctor. Up until now, I just exchanged my reading glasses. But, well, folks, I am getting old. Yes, my eyes do have a lot of strain on them from hello truck from working on the internet. And the funny thing, the optician or whatever you call this person asked me if do I have internet glasses or glasses to watch TV with, and I'm like, I never heard of that. So for the first time in my life, I have to have my eyes checked. Aside from the usual yearly, you know, look up at the chart. Yeah, everything is fine. Yeah, beautiful black eyes. Bye. See you next year. Well, I was surprised. I was referred to a doctor. I tried to ask the guy, is there something wrong? And he said, well, I really can't say more. You need to see the doctor. And she will prescribe glasses that you need. I go, do I need different glasses? He said, I can't tell you any more than that. You need to see the doctor. Well, that sort of got me a little bit more upset than I was before, I'm not upset about wearing glasses. I mean, what the heck? Glasses or no glasses. The main point is to be able to see. That's my opinion. But I was surprised. I mean, I don't have any other symptoms besides the fact that lately, say in the past few days, I've been having a bit of problem focusing and a little bit blurry. So I think that maybe they want to check to make sure whether it is just a matter of glasses or whether there's some other problem behind it. I know my blood pressure is fine. I've had no headaches, no dizziness, nothing like that. It was a good idea, I think, to go in time and have it looked at, because if we're going to go into lockdown or something like that, it's going to be mighty difficult to get any sort of medical, um, you know, things done. Now, this doesn't want to stick, so let me try to freshen up the wax. See if that will help the situation. These drills don't want to stick. Oh, okay. Now, what symbol was that? Okay, straight line. See, this is why I always have the jar over here that I took the drills out of in case I get confused as to which one I am working on. Actually, the doctor did mention I should get a little bit more sleep, but so many things have been going on lately that I actually was not tired. And I go, what am I supposed to do? Lay in bed and look at the ceiling? And he goes, no, I said sleep, not look at the ceiling. I said, okay, I'll sleep. Hubby was so funny. He goes, do you realize it's 7:30 at night? You should be in bed. I go, what am I, a child? He likes to order me around. Not that I listen to orders, but you gotta pretend that he's the boss. You know how it goes. Go, yes, dear. And then I take my laptop and my telephone into the bedroom, close the door. He's studying. Um, right now he's studying Hungarian literature and English pronunciation for his top level exams and the foreign languages. He's got the other exams all done. So he's busy with that. And I put my earplugs on and he doesn't realize that actually I'm not sleeping, but I'm actually working. But at least I'm resting. I am resting. I'm laying down in bed. Just because my eyes aren't closed and I'm not snoring doesn't mean I'm not resting. Of course, if he catches me, he's not too thrilled. And I tell him, well, you study all night, you go to work at 5 o'clock in the morning, so you should talk, right? Shouldn't you be getting sleep? And he goes, well, the doctor didn't yell at me to get sleep. I go, well, he didn't yell at me either. I'm bigger than he is. Hmm? Subject closed. We have quite a bit of color blocking or multiplacing, whatever you wish to call it. These are round drills, which make it that much easier to move along with this little canvas. It seems to me like this summer went by so fast. Oh dear, I just remembered how we will be home for a whole week. They're changing how should I say it? They're upgrading the machines for new work. So they usually have a week off until the engineers come and reprogram the stuff that they're going to be working on next. Of course, he already talked to the guys and he looked up on the internet, what they're going to be doing. I go, why you have to do, there are technicians and engineers that do that. Why you have to do that? He says, I don't like to be stupid. Okay. Have fun. And then the engineers are German, they speak German. So hubby found an Arabic version of it. So he's looking at the German, Arabic, and Hungarian version of the machines. And I'm like, can you make head or tail out of that? He goes, of course, simple. Like, if you're going to start saying, I don't understand because I'm a woman, I'm going to hit you over the head with a wood spoon. Don't worry, I don't hit him. Calm down. Oh, little mini monster did not want to come out of the baby pool. He actually had a meltdown. There's a kid, a little baby, in, those swimming diapers, soaking wet, turning halfway blue because he was cold. Sort of a lukewarm water, the baby pool, the splashing pool, separate for the babies at the spa. He threw himself on the wet grass because they water the grass. Don't ask me why. They water the grass before the people come to lay on the grass. Yeah. So he threw himself down on the wet grass, made his little fist, and threw a fist at it. Now you know what happens. Everybody's like, oh, what's the matter with the little baby? Did he hit himself? Did he try? If he drowned, he couldn't scream, could he? Oh, no, it's okay. He's just having a hasty fit. Don't worry. He'll quit eventually. He might turn blue and gray in the meantime, but he'll quit. I mean, at first he didn't want to go. It was his first time at a pool, at a spa. Before he was in the baby pool at home in the yard, and in the lake. But he's never been to the little baby pool, where they splash. It's called a splashing pool, actually. It's about this much water, about 25, 28 degrees centigrade for the babies to splash around in. And it's a rule that they must wear, these swimming diapers that do not disintegrate in the water. They're the same diapers they wear when they go for baby swimming. After 3 weeks, you're allowed to take them for baby swimming lessons. Well, little monster went under the water quite a few times, and his bangs, cover his eyes, and he was like, where am I? He couldn't see. I tried to wipe his face, and he was upset because I was wiping his face. He loved the water, though. We were playing ball. He has quite a good throw. He threw the ball right out of the pool, and I had to climb out, go get the ball, bring it back in. And the kids seemed to enjoy watching me climbing in and out. Mommy elephant going in and out of the pool. Yeah, he thought it was funny. I told him, if you throw the ball out again, I'm not bringing it. He threw the ball out. Of course, I brought it back in because he was screaming. I don't know why people want to butt in. You are there. You know that child. I mean, you're with that child 24/7. Why do they feel they need to give instruction on what to do? Perfectly aware that he was having a hasty fit, that's all. And I also know that a hasty fit doesn't last long. But if he has an audience, well, you know the story, then they raise up the volume. And everybody goes feeling sorry for the poor mistreated little child. And I'm like, you want to sort of butt out. The most advice you get are from those people that do not have any children. They, of course, are experts on how to raise a child. And you're like, thank you. I don't remember asking you, but thank you. Well, then we went to dinner, of course, we always do at the spa. Well, the little darling decided he wanted an adult fork and spoon. So I said, well, maybe he will eat adult food. No, he wanted to bang on a table with them. making a lot of noise, and you're like, shh, people are eating. He thought that was funny. And the waiter kept on running over. Is there anything you would like? Can I get you something? Perhaps an ice cream, or, a leash to put on a kid? Mm. Usually I don't take him to the spa, but it was a good thing we went on the weekend because the weather has turned rather um, not chilly. It's a nice weather, but not for swimming. Of course, the indoor pools are different, but that's not for babies because that hot spring water is very strong. And under 14, you're not allowed to take children in there. It's not good for their health. They're very strict about that. And even if you are, an elderly person or you have a health problem, um, you need to go to the doctor first, and he or she will tell you how much of the hot spring um, is recommended. Usually 20 minutes in the hot spring pool and then an hour rest. 20 minutes in the pool and an hour rest. This is the usual routine that is recommended. As far as a healthy way to use the hot spring, they have brought back the physical therapist, which means that the spine exercise, for us people that have problems with their back and who doesn't, um, they started once a week. Now, before they had it twice a week, so we will see if we can get it um, to twice a week. Usually, what is recommended is twice a week for 3 weeks. So, we will see if we can get a physical therapist that is also a nurse, because there has to be a nurse on duty um, all the time, and there is a sick room. Um, Actually, these mineral hot springs are nothing to play with, so I learned. They pay special attention to people with high blood pressure or heart disease, perhaps, or perhaps they're not even aware that they have a problem. And sometimes overdoing the hot spring can bring out problems. There was a time when a gentleman was sitting in the hot springs and he had a heart attack on the way home, and he was driving a car. So they are very careful about making sure that the proper use. At first, I thought too, oh, it's just hot water, just like the bathtub, there's no big deal. It is clinically proven the effects of the water. And it's been proven for centuries because even the Romans used to use these. Of course, it was not built the same way, but in Budapest there are Roman baths and Turkish baths. Because we had all these wonderful people visiting us and they just stayed. Everybody forgets to go home from Hungary. You're like, yeah, it was nice of you to visit for a couple of centuries, but would you mind, just sort of going back to your own country? We would really be happy about that. It's a small little country with 10 million people, and we have many resources, excellent soil as far as producing our own food. Um, in the villages, it's still prevalent for to have them make cows and chickens, ducks. In some houses, there are some rabbits, goat. pretty well self-sufficient. But of course, we have the problem as with everywhere else. The young people prefer to go to the city, and after a while they decide, well, it wasn't so bad after all in the village. Um, the education system in Hungary is excellent. We have a lot of foreign students on scholarship. That's how I met my husband. He's on scholarship, getting his doctorate. Um, the education system in Hungary is much more difficult. I would say all over Europe, it's much more difficult than, shall we say, in the USA. Anyway, that was my experience. As far as the college is concerned, and here they're not so much after your master's, but after your doctorate. Master is taken for granted. Well, of course, you're going to get your master's. And it's almost understood if you're going to go through that, then you're going to go for your doctorate. It's not unusual. We have a lot of doctor this and that in this country. If you're a physician, then you have a big DR in front of your name. If you are like the different kinds of doctors, like philosophy or what have you, then it's a small DR in front of your name to distinguish the medical doctors from from the brainy intellectual ones. So I was joking with hubby. I said, You're not going to be a big doctor. You're going to be a little doctor. He goes, I'm a grown man. I go, yeah, but you're still going to be a little doctor. That's the way it goes. He goes, I would write it in capitals. I go, you can write it in capitals, but on your diploma it will be in a little doctor. Because that's how they do it in this country. Simple as that. He goes, okay, I don't care. Just let me have a DR in front of my name. I go, exactly. And then you'll be finished. He goes, well, you can get a doctorate in more than one subject. I go, oh dear, oh please. Let's just get over this one. I mean, we have a regular library over here. Told him pretty soon I'm going to have to move out to make room for the books. He goes, that's what you get for marrying an intellectual person. I go, you insinuating that I am a dummy? He goes, I wouldn't dare. You have a whisper. Life is hard. He goes, did I ever hit you with a wood spoon? What is that supposed to mean that I have a wood spoon? Everybody has a wood spoon, don't they? I did buy the cutest little wood spoon today. Speaking of wood spoons, I figured little monster can use it to pretend that he's cooking. And just have Valentine, having an adult fork and knife and spoon in his hand. I go, that's for eating, not for playing drums on the table. So he laughs. He's a happy little monster. Well, he's right before that age, before the terrible twos. He's already learned the word no. No, no, I don't want to. I'm not going to. And I'm going to throw myself on the floor and have a hissy fit. Doesn't it hurt them when they throw themselves on the floor? I mean, you would think he would quit. Evidently not. So I just keep on telling him, okay, when you finish, you can stand up and you can continue the discussion in a more civilized manner and unfist those little dirty hands. Oh, he gave me such a tight fist. Where do they learn these things? I mean, certainly I've not seen me, throw myself on the floor and have a hasty fit yet. Okay, and one more here, and we missed one more here. Any more? This is when I look around to see where we missed, and then I'm going to check it when we're finished. I was trying to buy frames today, but I didn't find the size I needed. So I might have to order that. Okay. So I don't know what this is supposed to be. Like one of those things they put in to keep the sand from blowing. You think so? Did you ever see that on the beach? Yeah, I think that's what it is. Seriously, we have all these odd drills. I don't know where they come from. Sometimes I work in the middle of the night, half asleep. So, thank you very much for spending time with me this afternoon. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. I will see you tomorrow afternoon. Please hit the like and the subscribe button. Thank you very much. Bye bye for now. Bye. Somewhere in the comparison to July 4th in the USA, this is the anniversary, I think 1,000 years of Christian kings, and Stefan, was the first Christian king of Hungary. It is also the celebration of the baking of what is called the new bread, which means that the first bread from the wheat of this year's harvest will be baked. And they also have, like a cake of Hungary to celebrate the birthday of Hungary. And they also have the bread of Hungary. Now, before, the official bread of Hungary was baked from wheat from all over the country, from different, farms and fields, to simplify the unification of Hungary, which was no small feat. There were a bunch of tribes, nomad tribes, Hungarians. They were not called Hungarian. Actually, I don't know what they were called. Um, they were nomad people, excellent horsemen, and excellent with the bow and arrow. Um, but they have learned that in order to survive with all these attacks from all the other tribes, it behooves them to make a pact. This was a blood pact, and I mean, these are completely different people. They have never met the American Indians, And they did make a blood pact. They cut a little hole on the wrist and into a cup. Each tribe leader put a little bit of blood, and from what I have read, I am not sure if this is true. They mix it with the wine, and then they would each take a sip of it, which unified them as, yes, you are right, as blood brothers. And you do not attack your brother, especially if they're your blood. You don't attack, you don't shed your own family's blood. I don't know how else to explain it. And this what made them strong. In Hungary, in this territory, they have found fresh water, lots of it, important for the survival of a civilization. Um, Forests that had plenty of game in them. Now, at that time, they were not um, farmers, they were nomads. So they had animals, horses and sheep and cattle, I presume goats, Um, of course, their most valued possession was, of course, the horse and the bow and arrow, which they were extremely expert in that. So this is sort of very roughly how this nation of Hungary came about. And then, of course, we were mixed with surrounding nations. And then, of course, Hungary was occupied by many different nations, the Romans, the Ottoman Empire, and of course, we had a wonderful Russian neighbors. And everybody seemed to like to stay here longer than we would prefer to have them stay here. Mm, The soil of Hungary proved to be very fertile. So for a long time, we were the breadbasket, um, let's say, of Russia. We exported a lot of wheat and bread, and we have many items to export. Hungary is able to be self-sufficient. We did not have any food shortages or anything like that. I would say the standard of living is a comfortable middle class. If you work and if you work hard, you can achieve the basics. Um, it's relative to what you call being rich. I call being rich um, having no debts, having all my bills paid, healthy food on the table, proper clothing for the temperature, look nice, excuse me, a comfortable home, proper medical care. So really, I would say things are very good. Of course, we had our hard times, just like everybody else here in Europe. This is Eastern Europe. This is a tiny little nation, 10 million people, and as much as um, we were overrun by outsiders, they were not able to destroy us. Maybe they wanted to destroy our language, which is very unique. None of the surrounding nations do we have anything in common with. So they usually say Hungary is like an island in the middle of Eastern Europe. Well, of course, we don't have any seas or anything. We have lakes and rivers, and oh, we have fantastic hot
springs and hot spring spas, which brings lots of visitors. And as I have told you many times, this hot spring is prescribed by doctor for problems such as arthritis, for many different problems. Actually, um, what they do is they test each of the hot spring and see which minerals are prevalent. And of course, then according to the minerals, there's a hot spring mineral beds that are the strongest. They are prescribed for the ailment. Let's say if you have a stubborn infection or after a major surgery, you would be prescribed a hot spring high in sulfur, because of the ability of sulfur to kill the nasty little things. Of course, excellent for people like myself and the majority of us, whose backs are killing them. Excellent exercise for the spine. Actually, this says exercise for the spine, but you really can't do much with the spine. Actually, what you are doing is strengthening the muscles that support your spine. And this helps somewhere in the comparison to July 4th in the USA. This is the anniversary, I think, 1,000 years of Christian king, and Stefan, was the first Christian king of Hungary. It is also the celebration of the baking of what is called the new bread, which means that the first bread from the wheat of this year's harvest will be baked. And they also have, like a cake of Hungary to celebrate the birthday of Hungary. And they also have the bread of Hungary. Now, before, the official bread of Hungary was baked from wheat from all over the country, from different, farms and fields, to simplify the unification of Hungary, which was no small feat. There were a bunch of tribes, nomad tribes, Hungarians. They were not called Hungarians. Actually, I don't know what they were called. Um, they were nomad people, excellent horsemen, and excellent with the bow and arrow. Um, but they have learned that in order to survive with all these attacks from all the other tribes, it behooves them to make a pact. This was a blood pact, and I mean, these are completely different people. They have never met the American Indians, and they did make a blood pact. They cut a little hole in the wrist, and into a cup, each tribe leader put a little bit of blood. And from what I have read, I am not sure if this is true. They mix it with the wine, and then they would each take a sip of it, which unified them as, yes, you are right, as blood brothers. And you do not attack your brother, especially if they're your blood. You don't attack, you don't shed your own family's blood. I don't know how else to explain it. And this what made them strong. In Hungary, in this territory, they have found fresh water, lots of it, important for the survival of a civilization. Um, Forests that had plenty of game in them. Now, at that time, they were not farmers, they were nomads. So they had animals, horses and sheep and cattle, I presume goats, you know. Um, of course, their most valued possession was, of course, the horse and the bow and arrow, which they were extremely expert in that. So this is sort of very roughly how this nation of Hungary came about. And then, of course, we were mixed with surrounding nations. And then, of course, Hungary was occupied by many different nations, the Romans, the Ottoman Empire, and of course, we had our wonderful Russian neighbors. And everybody seemed to like to stay here longer than we would prefer to have them stay here. Um, the soil Hungary proved to be very fertile. So for a long time, we were the breadbasket, let's say, of Russia. We exported a lot of wheat and bread, and we have many items to export. Hungary is able to be self-sufficient. We did not have any food shortages or anything like that. I would say the standard of living is a comfortable middle class. If you work and if you work hard, you can achieve the basics. Um, it's relative to what you call being rich. I call being rich um, having no debt, having all my bills paid, healthy food on the table, proper clothing for the temperature, look nice. Excuse me. A comfortable home, proper medical care. So really, I would say things are very good. Of course, we had our hard times, just like everybody else here in Europe. This is Eastern Europe. This is a tiny little nation, 10 million people, and as much as um, we were overrun by outsiders, they were not able to destroy us. Maybe they wanted to destroy our language, which is very unique. None of the surrounding nations do we have anything in common with. So they usually say Hungary is like an island in the middle of Eastern Europe. Well, of course, we don't have any seas or anything. We have lakes and rivers, and we have fantastic hot springs and hot spring spas, lots of visitors. And as I have told you many times, this hot spring is prescribed by a doctor for problems such as arthritis, for many different problems. Actually, um, what they do is they test each of the hot spring and see which minerals are prevalent. And of course, then according to the minerals, there's a hot spring mineral that are the strongest. They are prescribed for the ailment. Let's say if you have a stubborn infection or after a major surgery, you would be prescribed a hot spring high in sulfur, because of the ability of sulfur to kill the nasty little things. Of course, excellent for people like myself and the majority of us, whose backs are killing them. Excellent exercise for the spine. Actually, this has exercise for the spine, but you really can't do much with the spine. Actually, what you are doing is strengthening the muscles that support your spine. And this helps prevent um, the condition to deteriorate. Sometimes I can't speak English. To an extent that you might need surgery, then you will not need surgery. Now they thought that I had a dislocated disc, hitting a nerve. Yeah, I know you're going, ouch. Yeah, exactly, folks. Um, it took me about a year of walking with the Nordic sticks, which means that instead of hunching over from the pain and causing more damage to the spine, I learned to straighten up nice and slowly, and you're doing what is called X training. So you are actually exercising muscles that you would not normally move around just by regular movement. Yeah, I know. At first I thought too, they're totally ridiculous. What is two sticks and having in the brain? Muscles. It works. Of course, you have to buy. Um, well, the walking sticks are not, doesn't have to be, the most expensive. As long as they can support your weight, um, because it does help when you straighten out, and it helps when you're feeling wobbly, not too sure about your steps. It helps to keep you balanced. And as I said, I stop quite a few times during my walk, straighten out myself. We're not going to shuffle, we're not going to pull our feet. We're going to stand up nice and straight, straighten out our spine, take a deep breath, and you start with the opposite foot from your arm. This is why it is called X training. Actually, the letter X is what you're doing. You know, like with the left foot, you for the right with the right arm you put the stick forward. So just imagine the letter X, and it worked wonders. Now, since we had a little no-no, um, I did slack on the amount of walking I did, and I am